Yo, what's poppin'? It's your boy, Mr. Locario, the bad boy of the dating game. What's good? So I wanted to do this video to talk about the movie Don John. I wanted to give my review of it because I just finished watching it, and the movie is off the fucking hook. You feel me? Every man needs to see this movie. This is a very man movie. You understand? It's awesome. It's starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Scarlett Johansson. Has a couple other people in there. But it's dope, man. It's like, you know, the shit that they're talking is how real men talk, how real men act. I actually want women to see this too, so they can see how guys really are, you know. And also, the film kind of shows what dudes are into, what chicks are into, and kind of like how we're different, but at the same time we're kind of the same. It's just that we want different things. It's real deep shit in there, and I think that we need more movies, you know, like this. You understand? And I just want to let you guys know that I thought it was good, and it didn't. What I liked about it the most is that it didn't really pander to a lot of this like romantic comedy type of shit that they always do in movies. It was very realistic, very very true to life type of shit. You feel what I'm saying? And you know, at this point in the video, I want to warn you because I'm gonna do some spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie, like pause this or stop the video and then go see the movie and then come back to this point in the video, because I wanted to talk about a couple of things in the movie that I thought was interesting and that I thought that people should learn from by watching this film. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm doing the spoilers right now. Okay, so Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character, he's the main character. And he's out there banging girls and shit, and he's talking about how much he loves porn and all this other stuff, and he's talking about how great porn is, and how much he loves porn more than even regular sex with chicks, and in certain cases, and he's banging out all these chicks. So then he sees Scarlett Johansson's character, and then he starts to really feel her. And the funny thing with that whole dynamic was that Joseph Gordon-Levitt was banging out all these girls really quick, and he was trying to get with Scarlett Johansson, but she was the type of chick who wanted to take it slow, and she wanted a boyfriend, and she was like leaning, she was on that, oh, I want to meet your family and take it slow and all this other shit. So then this dude, John, Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character, who was he's on some player shit, he wanted to, like really like just hit it, but then he was like feeling it so much that he started to like do things her way. You understand? He started to like kind of get a little bit soft. And and it's funny because in the movie he went from this player dude to kind of like this boyfriendy type of guy, and you could see his whole demeanor change. And it was funny because in certain scenes, he started to get a little bit more like feminine, and a little bit not feminine necessarily, but a little bit more of a beta male than an alpha male. Than he was an alpha male in the beginning, and now he's getting a little soft. And it was a scene in there where he's with his friend in the club, and then Scarlett Johansson's there, and then they're talking, and his friend is like, yo, I see hot, like, he was like, I see hotter girls than your girl up in here, or whatever. Like, that was, like, the tone of it. And then Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character got mad and, like, threw a drink on his friend, and, it was, like, really on some bitch shit. But it was, like, that was him going through that whole stage of him being with his girl on some, changing his ways and shit. You understand? And then there was a scene in there also where he's trying to chill with his boys. His boys want to chill, and he's like, nah, I got to go see my girl and all this other stuff. And he's, and he starts talking all of this stuff about, oh, but when you find a girl that you really love and you just be a real man and be with her, then she'll do, everything is great. And it's just like, whoa, And I'm glad that they showed that, because a lot of guys, they end up changing themselves just because they want to stay with a girl. So, and what happened was he stopped watching porn and was hiding that he was watching porn because his girl, Scarlett Johansson, didn't want him to watch porn anymore. So he kept changing himself. And then he ended up going to school because she wanted him to go to school. So he was doing all of this shit to change himself for her. Right? And then during the movie, while it was going on, you start to see that Scarlett Johansson's character, she was kind of bossing him around. She was kind of like, telling him what to do. And then it was like he was slowly, recognizing that he wasn't feeling that. You know what I mean? And long story short, they break up. And then he's starting to like, realize like, that she's a bitch or whatever. Right? Now, at this point in the movie, he's going to school. He meets this older lady who was played by, oh my God, what the hell is this woman's name again? And I actually like this lady, but forgive me, you'll know who she is when you see the movie. I can't remember her name now. But the older chick he meets at school, they're kind of flirting or whatever. He already broke up with Scarlett Johansson. He gets with the older chick and they start fucking around. You understand? And what I found interesting is that, you know, in this movie, he found more of a connection with the older chick. And it's funny because even in my life and you know, and other guys that I've coached and other people that other guys that I've, you know, talked to, you know, when you fuck with an older chick, sometimes older chicks, you know, they have more experience. So they, like in the movie, she was sort of putting him onto some game. She was like telling him some shit. And he was like having a more like cool, like better time with this chick because she wasn't as like on some other bullshit as Scarlett Johansson's character. You know what I'm saying? And the funny part is, what I thought was very interesting that they showed in the movie was that Scarlett Johansson's character, the reason why him and her broke up was because she was too overbearing. She kept like, you know, telling him that he's wrong and what he's doing is disgusting and blah, 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 blah. Right? So then at one point in the movie, Joseph Gordon-Levitt's sister, she hasn't said anything in the movie at all. She just was on her phone the whole time in every scene. And then she finally says one thing, and you know, and I know they put this in the movie to make it stand out. She said to her brother, she's like, hey, you know, it's good that you and her broke up because she just wanted to run your life. She didn't care about you. And she was just being on some bitch shit. And the dude, and he was like, yo, I feel you on that. You understand? So a lot of times you guys, you know, you see a hot chick and you're trying to change yourself to be with them. But sometimes it's not worth it. It's not worth being with this chick, you know, changing yourself because she's on some nonsense. You understand? You just keep it moving. What I found interesting is that near the end of the movie, he met up with Scarlett Johansson again to, you know, talk to her. And he was basically apologizing to her just because he lied to her. And she said, you know, at the beginning, she hates guys that lie. So he lied to her about the whole porn thing, about not watching it or whatever. So he went to her just to say, look, you know, I'm sorry I lied and let's let bygones be bygones and all this other shit. But what I found interesting was that Scarlett Johansson's character, she still didn't realize what she did in the situation to make the situation fucked up. She kept thinking that everything was because of him. Like, oh, this didn't work out because of him. But she didn't realize that she was overbearing. She didn't realize she was bitchy and nagging and all this other stuff. She didn't realize that. No, and it was funny because I was saying to myself, damn, I wish Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Joseph, why can't I say this guy's name? I'm gonna call him Joseph, whatever. I wish Joseph's character would have told her, like, listen, you know, the reason why this shit didn't work out was because he was doing all this shit too. You understand? Like, but what I found interesting is that I feel like he didn't even need to say that because what I noticed with women is that a lot of times they still, even if you tell them, and I know this by experience, when you tell them the shit that they're doing to fuck up their relationships, they don't listen, they don't get it, and they still continue to do the nonsense that they do. And this is, you know, what's interesting about Scarlett Johansson's character because she's you know, she's really hot. You know, guys is gonna holler at her, whatever. This dude wanted to be with her, but it didn't work out because she kept trying to control him. You understand? And trying to do all this other shit. And then by the end of the movie, she still didn't realize that her controlling ways was the thing that contributed to them breaking up, which I thought was an interesting point, you know, in the movie. And, you know, another point that they made also was near the end of the movie where, you know, Joseph's character was messing with the older lady and, you know, they was doing a thing and hanging out and all this other stuff. You know, he was not fucking with Scarlett Johansson anymore. He was messing with the older chick. He was feeling a little better about like his situations or whatever. And it was quick. It was a little scene. It was quick where he was hanging out with his boys in front of a pizza shop. And, you know, he was the guy out of the group that used to get all the girls. He was like, oh, I bang all the 8s and the 9s and the 10s and all this other stuff. So they were like, oh, you know, your reign is over. Your reign of like fucking with all these girls is over because, you know, we were at the club and I saw you didn't really holler at that, you know, hot chick or whatever. And there was a really quick line he said in there where he was like, you know, I didn't really want to fuck with her really because her personality was whack. So I just left it alone. And I thought that was interesting that they put that in there because it shows that, you know, he's grown in his level of game to where he could still get hot chicks, but he is like, look, I'm picking and choosing now if I'm gonna fuck with you, not just because you're hot, but because you actually you're saying something interesting. Like I can see that you have something more than just your looks, and I think it shows the growth in the character that he was dealing with Scarlett Johansson's character, and she was hot, but her personality was garbage. So now he's like, look, I can't just deal with you because you're hot. You have to actually have something else going for you, which is why he was probably also messing with the older lady. You understand? But the movie was awesome. Make sure you guys go and watch it. Make sure you go take all your friends, take the ladies to watch it so they can see what it's about. It's awesome. And that is it, man. And remember, guys, hit me up at MrLocario.com, MrLocarioTV.com. If you need to ask me a question about dating and relationships, email me at AskMrLocario@gmail.com. Also, make sure you go to MrLocario.com and become a member on my site, and you get exclusive dating advice every month. Exclusive stuff. So make sure you holler at your boy, all right? I'm out of here. Remember, the truth is inside you. I'm gone. Peace. Later.